Well, I'm glad you turned up, Scott, because me and Maurizio were just about to shoot each other. We were like, well, what the fuck happened last week? Not what
I thought
happened
last week was kind of good. What are you guys bitching about? We dumped right at the top. I just got giga long hype again on with
Yeah.
leverage like a few minutes ago, a few hours ago actually. But yeah, you know, it's not supposed to go up in one direction, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's good, man. Like it was good timing. Looks good though. Looks good for pullback. So looks pretty good.
Nice.
Is everyone's favorite homeless looking man coming on today? Is David awake or is he fucking you wild boy?
Yeah. No, I don't think he'll be here today. He did a pretty thorough.
He's been doing a good job lately. After
Yeah,
doing a shit job for a while, we're doing it together now. So he's tightly supervised
well, that's what
and
we
highly
need.
motivated too, which is good.
Nice. All right. So this is on the weekly view. I'm on the smaller screen. Let me hide a couple of things here. This is on the weekly view, right? And this last month has been really interesting because obviously we had that really great week that pushed us back up into this little range here. We had that close above 102. And then we built off of that. The following week, we had a close above the 104. And then we had a subsequent week where we retested the 104 and the 102 with that pretty big wick. We get up to those all-time highs. People are like, let's take some profit, and that's what they did. And then there was buyers just waiting to snap it up. And then this week looks like we've gone for another retest, and it's been fairly deep, but we've got the weekly candle close above that 104 line, which I saw as the kind of delineating line between sort of bearish and bullish. We close above it.
Is
Great.
that really deep though? I mean, look at it from the big picture. We've been up what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks in a row, and you want to bitch about a down week where we closed what, 40% off the lows? That was an inside bar. I mean, come on, just stop being pussies. Fucking grow a pair.
So Bitcoin's looking in pretty good shape with this weekly close that we've just had. And I would say, too many things on the screen, that the same thing applies to ETH. The last few weeks, really, since this great big candle here, I've been saying the same thing. This level of 2,500 is the level that we need to keep, and we need to close above it. And as we can see, that has been happening. And we've been tickling the balls of the 2,700. So ETH's within this range now. And for ETH to continue on this uptrend, then we need to capture this next level of resistance. So everything is really placed kind of nice, I think. Now, if we look at the total market cap,
I think ETH looks better than Bitcoin here, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I'll show you a chart that the ETH against Bitcoin, and ETH is gaining a lot of strength across the board, like across Bitcoin, across Solana. Yeah.
Yeah, that's ETH. ETC.
I mean, that looks like as clear a reversal as you'd ever see, right? Like we've got our, I mean, strength off the lows. We've got relative strength. And it was so hated. Everyone.
I know.
No, it was embarrassing for people who owned ETH, like at the exact lows, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it
was
doesn't.
embarrassing.
The narrative have been, is ETH finished? They've changed their protocol. We don't like it anymore. Yada yada yada.
They posted on their Twitter today, like, happy gay pride month. I mean, read the fucking room. You cunts are bleeding money. Like, just start spending it wisely. Stop doing fucking stupid shit that no one cares about. Like half your community has died in the war, racist pseudo-Nazis. Like that's not me. Like, I hate that shit. But like, for fuck's sake, guys, don't don't spend your community capital on stuff that doesn't make you money.
Exactly. Exactly. So with that, I'll hand it to Maurizio.
I'm very close let me just, first of all, I'm just gonna ask where you guys at. Like, we did had a decent pullback, yes, in the last couple of days. Do you guys see this a pullback, or do you guys see it like, oh shit, think it's gonna go down? I just wanna hear your thoughts, in terms of what do you guys think in terms of where you are with crypto?
I don't know what I think.
No, I mean, yeah, everybody, healthy pullback.
Your number one risk here is being underallocated to the fucking industry that you've obsessively followed every fucking day for years. And your number one risk is the shit running away without you. And you go, I'm going to wait for a fucking pullback. And then pullback
Correct.
is come. That's your risk. And
Correct. So let me tell you where I'm at the moment. All right, do you guys see my screen now?
you made some great trades last week, Maurizio.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I took some risk off, and
Yeah, I
I'm
saw.
still, yeah. There was
But on the new trades and the banking profits, you're fucking crushing it, son.
yeah. Thanks. Yeah, I'm very peculiar now and taking profits very religiously. You know what I mean? Like right now, like that's especially trading with leverage and things like that. It's been
Someone's
good.
touched the stove, and he's figured out the stove is hot.
Yep. Yeah, so let me tell you where I'm at. Let's start with Bitcoin. So first of all, let's go into monthly. Why monthly? Obviously, we just closed the monthly, right? Like I was on Sunday, we closed monthly.
That
And
looks as good as it ever gets, doesn't it?
man, this is pretty healthy trend, right? Like, it's no argument, right? That you can actually, there's a highly likelihood that we could keep continue pushing up. However, we just started a new month though, but obviously on the positive, right?
So
But
what this means in technical terms is that on all lookbacks, every algorithmic trend follower is long Bitcoin at this stage.
correct.
So it means that both the short-term traders, the medium-term traders, and the very, very long-term traders are all long and all expecting further gains, which means they stop selling, which means that there's less sellers, and less sellers usually means noisily and on average and with a bunch of fuckery involved, that prices should go up.
Technically, yeah. So that's definitely well put there, because that's kind of what I'm looking at. I'm looking at things that actually pull back hardest in a way, but
Are you
it is
looking at beta coins with strong beta to ETH,
yes,
or are you looking
yeah,
at?
yeah. Let me show you all the betas that I have, because that's I think that could be the
I looked at ENA and Pepe this morning because I hold a bit of them, and I wasn't really that impressed. But I think it's just
no, but it's just catching up, and I do especially ENA, for instance, right? ENA. Let me just jump into ENA, because there is one a little bit of news that Ton and Athena partnered up to provide like 18% yields on USDE for a limited time. So that could improve ENA performance, at least shorter time frame, right?
I've got a little bit of insight into the VC flows for ENA, and they have a mutually assured destruction agreement, not that no one's selling below 30. That's why it's held around that.
Interesting. So I think that could this could be a really interesting trade for this week. So if I look at the daily, right? Obviously it's holding pretty well in these levels, and people seem to be front running it. So it looks like we are at a very good
Would you buy it now, or would
place.
you wait for a retest?
Well, for retest, it is like, if you look at the lows here, right?
It's
Like
almost a higher time frame retest, right?
kind of. But if you look at the lows here, we had a deviation here, but then it looks like people are firm running this level. You know what I mean? Like,
I think so.
So obviously when I'm looking at this, there is a lot of the same coins doing the same thing. People front running the lows, right? So a lot of people might think that we cleared the lows, have a deviation before we go up, but if we're really
Can you bring up
bullish,
CVD on that? Do you have access to CVD on Velo or
let's have a look.
Because I think that would be quite interesting. You, by the way, you just tag it as a favorite, and then you can use that page that you're on right now and just change from top gainers to favorites. That's an easy way to do it.
I see. Yeah. All right.
If you guys are watching and you want CVD data, because CVD is really quite predictive. That's how trends form. Is order book imbalances become things. Okay, what do we got here?
Let me just open it up a little bit bigger. Okay.
So we had, as it fell, we had a bunch of hedging out, liquidations at the lows,
a bunch of liquidations here at this level.
Liquidations at the lows. Now, could you change that to like a 15-minute, please? And let's have a look at the open interest. Okay. So open interest is going up as prices going up, and open interest is going down as prices going down. That means that longs are opening new positions here. I think this is a really, really nice long.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. And
Actually,
obviously,
I might tell David to buy a bit of this.
It could be supported for the fact that obviously now we have Ton and Ethena partnering up, and that could provide a little bit of push up on the USD.
Which hate all that shit. They're all just lying cunts.
I know. But
you
at the end of the day,
you believe that, I'm gonna fucking rape you over time.
But at the end of the day, that's what people believe.
Like one
right?
pack of lying Russian cunts and another have partnered with another pack of lying VC cunts, and you're gonna believe them? Like, what the fuck, dude? Come on, better than that.
But that's what people believe. So obviously, if they start piling up into it, right, that's what it is, right? And if they start offering 18% yields on USDE,
it's definitely behaving like dumb fucks believe it. So that's good enough for me.
Exactly. So based on that, that could be one of my favorites for this week. So I'll keep and you could kind of see like.
Let me just jump in. There's a question in the chat about what CVD is. So what it is when someone buys at market, when someone market buys, they're aggressive. When someone market sells, they're aggressive. Cumulative volume delta is the ratio of market buys to market sells. So it tells you, are the bulls more aggressive or are the bears more aggressive? And that aggression is a very strongly predictive feature. Very strongly and in both the short term and out to about a couple of weeks, it can be quite
predictive. Correct. And I'm looking at this, and by the way, if you guys don't know how to add this indicator in Velo data, so you
how do you do that?
You actually have, this is new. This is like they've
added. I've been looking for this for ages.
Because this is the aggregated cumulative delta, and it's actually put on candles. What that means is so you basically, let me just show you. So
you can see even as price has gone down, like like if you look at the last day, if you change that to a 5-minute and then made that bottom panel a bit bigger, 5-minute, and then up to that bottom, you can see clearly that the bulls are more aggressive, right? Because it's going up.
Correct.
Like the bulls have been more aggressive since before price started going up, really, since way back there, right?
Correct. And this is a really good way to time.
It's a very good way to time reversals.
Yeah, the long-term sort of trades,
because what it tells you is that someone is unwilling to wait and just get their limit order filled. They're horny for it. They're like, fuck, this thing's going to rip and run. We got to get in right now. I'm going to pay the spread. I'm going to tip my market maker. I don't give a fuck. I just got to get in, like market buy, mash the button. That tells us something about what these fuckers are thinking. Right. It tells us that they don't just want it because it's good value or it's a little bit cheap now. I'll scalp it for a few cents. They're like, fuck, this thing's about to rip and run. I got to get in.
I agree. And something that I want to highlight on this one, because I've been gonna leave your work this morning. Like if you look at the smaller timeframes, like the way that this is sort of behaving like a small trend, this could be seen as a WAP buy. What that means is people, like big orders need to get into the market, but without affecting the market, right? Like if I'm going to buy $1 million, $2 million out of this thing, they do like a WAP, time WAP buy, right? So it's starting to, doing this kind of behavior, right? And to the upside, to the point that this could actually start getting back on track. So that's kind of what I'm tracking. And there's a few confluences going into it. So obviously ENA is very, very correlated with Ethereum. Okay, in terms of there is a lot of Ethereum. If Ethereum does well, ENA by default, the way that ENA, the protocol works, will do really well. So we have Ethereum confluence. We have now freaking Thin Anton doing this partnership and shit, and that could actually be another confluence. And the fact that we do have this kind of behavior going into the community delta on spot, which is, the spot buys is actually what drives the market long term, right?
Okay, so do you want to dig into that a little bit, because the derivatives market, the perps market, is connected to the spot market, but by a mile long rubber band. And in a healthy market, it should be the spot wagging the tail, the derivatives market. In an unhealthy fraud scam market, it's the tail wagging the dog when you see bullshit pump and dump scams and market making bullshit, right? So
exactly.
Spot moving first, that's usually a good sign. That's something that you want to look for to see, is it legit?
Exactly. And I've been saying, like, I used to, well, I still do. You guys know that on a daily basis, I look at the CoinAlyze open interest against the CVD spot on CoinAlyze. Now we can do it on Velo data on a better picture, but this is kind of the same thing. But now you can do it on Velo across the board on any coin, right? Like technically any coin that has that on Velo, you will be able to pull out this
that's amazing.
Cumulative delta, and this is the candle. So obviously it's easier to read on candles perspective, because essentially when you start seeing breakouts, a candle breakout, that means it's a lot of spot buying. So what I'm looking for is, and this is for long-term trades, obviously don't go too quick too soon, you know what I mean? Because obviously what could happen, right, if you start doing leverage trades on this, is that you might see that you could actually see this thing going up, but then you get all the people actually taking the lows, right? Obviously getting liquidations down. So obviously this is a really good way to gauge long-term momentum, but then really hard to pinpoint if we're going to go heavy on leverage and things like that. That's the only thing that I want to be clear of. Like, that doesn't mean we could have another week down right here, clearing these lows, right? Taking all these people out, and then think this could run up. So this type of trades, I would like to just, have it on the spot or things like that. That's the only caveat of this, but it looks pretty good. Like, in my view, it looks pretty good. So yeah, this is the one that I'm focusing on this week. Which I might just start a position. To be honest, it looks pretty good. By the way, I was going to show you how to aggregate this. So you go to indicators, you do spot volume, right? You can actually see the tape, but so you go spot volume, and this is going to show like this, but then you go into the settings, and you can bring whatever inputs you want, but then on the measure, you want to see cumulative delta or cumulative delta candles, and this is how you actually get this one here.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I really like it. They added this probably a week ago. So
guys, I want to add a little bit of cautionary note about how to interpret this. This is not a fucking crystal ball. This is a weather vane. So what it tells you is that people are getting more aggressive with spot buying now. That's all it tells you. doesn't tell you that that means it's going to go up to this level and that level or any of that bullshit. That's all crap. All it tells us is that right now, spot buyers are getting aggressive. Those spot buyers could be wrong. They could be getting in to pump it in anticipation of an announcement, an event, and anything. This is not a crystal ball. It's a weather vane.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. So obviously, this is very correlated with what the market is doing. So essentially, what I mean is, if we have, let's talk about Ethereum, right? If we do have, I was going to take this short, I didn't take it. I should have taken it anyway. Let me just get this out. Now, this is Ethereum let's have a look at Ethereum on the monthly, right? Because I was so let me just hide this thing. Okay. So on the monthly, it looks pretty solid, right? Like now, from the monthly perspective, is sort of getting back into what the level, what the interesting level of the value of Ethereum, call it that way, could look like, right? Which is around the 2,500, this area here. So that's the meaning of strength.
There's
That's
a little with Ethereum roots, the success of the stablecoin USD.E, which is that thing. How do they make the yield on USD.E? They short the fuck out of Ethereum and buy spot, right?
correct. They do have an algorithm that actually does shorting on perps on a
they short
basket.
They short perps and buy spot. But that has become so big because it's such a good product that it's totally fucking distorted the supply demand relationship of ETH. So in fact, one of the reasons why ETH is so in the toilet is really because of the success of USD.E. And this is and this is like a quite difficult and subtle point to wrap your head around. But I really like ENA. I fucking
I do.
I've been cunted on it. I've been absolutely cunted on it, but I really like it. I think it's one of the few products that's got product market fit. I think it's one of the few innovative products. I like the dude behind it, fucking Arthur Hayes.
I agree. Fundamentally speaking, with ENA, my views haven't changed. Haven't changed in terms. So haven't changed obviously long term. I agree with you in terms of they do have a good product. The only downside in terms of ENA is that a lot of people compare ENA with Luna. So what happened with Luna and the stable thing with Luna, with the USD, I think, which is pretty much
they're so different. Luna was
so different, exactly.
So different.
But people don't understand that because they think that is the same sort of algorithm that back is the stable coin, but it's not. It's a completely different technology. So I think that's why it hasn't actually thrived completely. You know what I mean? That lack of trust, I guess, on how the algorithm to stabilize the USD.E coin works, but it still is good. It is. I think it's a really, really good product, and it does have a good fit in the market. So that's why I'm tracking that very closely, and that's one of my favorite if betas. If Ethereum decides to keep going up, which it looks like it does, like this is one of the biggest indicators that I see, guys, and I keep long term, the 200 EMA daily. It is what a lot of people see. It is a lot of.
It sounds like we do, but it's the only one with any actual evidence behind it, and there's some reason for that in TradFi. If you go back like 50 years, the 200 was the one that was defended in 08. The 200 is the one that like the TradFi boys all use. Like, it's so stupid.
It is, but it's the one that is, like this.
The one that everyone uses.
Exactly. So obviously I always put it in there just because because funny, I'll show you a few of the charts that we, if you do want to get scalping going, any rejections, anytime that we reject this level or anytime that we touch it, there could be a scalping opportunity. And that's a for sure, like you trend against it and it's actually pretty good, but then longer term, I really like it, right? And obviously this is the first time that we're back, the first time since, so we broke the 200 MA on February, right? And now on May, right, a couple of weeks ago, we start getting back up, and you can see how this is sustained strength, right? And if we look at long-term perspective, right, this is kind of the behavior of markets around these 200 MA, and it is quite predictive in a way, you know what I mean? Like, it is quite always, a lot of the crypto stuff moves on high time frames on 200 MA, and it's pretty freaking good, man. Like, this 200 MA is not exact, but it gives you an indication of what things could look like. So with that being said, if you look at here, this is the first time we touch it. That doesn't mean we're gonna run out completely, right? Because what usually happens is you get people, I don't know if you guys heard about the bull traps, bear traps and things like that. So people want to go long here. Oh, this thing's gonna go, and then you have deviation clearing those liquidations, and then the market goes up, right? That usually is the behavior. That doesn't have to happen that way, by the way. But this is the first time that we actually cross above the EMA on Ethereum. Okay, so that's kind of, and if you align that with ETH and Bitcoin, right, the ETH and Bitcoin chart, then it's getting up there. Obviously, if we do have Ethereum across this, that's when we go bulls in deep on Ethereum betas and things like that. But that's my take, right? And if you look at it, Solana against Ethereum, it is now losing the strength, which is good. Like, this is the other way around that ETH and Bitcoin, guys. So Solana against ETH. What we want to know if ETH is in the driver's seat is that this needs to keep going down. So Ethereum is now stronger than Solana, and it's getting up there with Bitcoin. So things are aligning for Ethereum, right? We can see a little bit of rotation towards Ethereum. That's kind of the whole take of this. So with that being said, let me jump into the Ethereum betas that I'm watching, right? Why are they right here? All right, so this is not Ethereum beta. This one. Okay, so this is kind of stuff that I'm watching that could do really well on Ethereum strength. So we have LDO. Fucking hate LDO, but I like it sometimes. LDO is based on Ethereum. We have ARB, all the Ethereum sort of layer twos. You have ARB, you have OP, you have Manta, you have a lot of shit that actually works on top of Ethereum that could actually start gaining some momentum. So I'm looking at ARB, and if you guys see the behavior of everything is pretty much the same. So LDO, look at the gun. Like,
it's pretty clear beta to ETH, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
and,
so all these things you should treat as ETH beta.
Mhm.
Like it's just ETH with leverage, right? Like
Technically.
like they're not their own fucking thing. It's just ETH in a trench coat.
Exactly. That's the only thing that I'm seeing. So obviously, Ina is on my favorite.
If you think about the bigger picture of what that really means. So we're
Mhm.
seeing everything behave not like its own thing, but just like beta to ETH. What does that tell you? Does that tell you that we're all just wiggling in our own random sideways way? Or does it tell you that the market's getting in gear and the rising tide is floating every fucking boat at the same time?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like we're starting to see the evidence accumulate that none of this shit is going up and down on its own merits. It's going up and down together. And that's kind of another way of saying we're fucking on, boys.
Mhm. It looks like it, definitely. Like, it keeps going, and then things that I want to see, and behaviors that I want to see is this kind of stuff. So on a bull market, right? Think about it from the psychological perspective of what people want to buy any dip. Okay, so the fact that we're not that's how, I don't pretty sure you guys have heard about higher highs, higher lows, lower highs, lower lows, and things like that. That's how trends develop. And you get higher highs, higher lows that develop, right? And that's what a bull market looks like, right? And why? Because psychologically speaking, people want to front run. They don't want to wait until this low here in order to buy. They just want to start buying, right, as soon as possible. So that's an indication for me that we could see this could be really just a simple pullback, and this is now the time to buy. You know what I mean? But then obviously have in mind that we do have the let me just pull up if we have the other option, like in terms of probabilities, right? How probable are we that we're going to do this from here, or how probably what's the probability that we could do something like this or something like this, and then we could retest these levels here around the 2100, right? Those are my three scenarios at the moment with it. So but the more I look at it, if you look at the lows of each of the daily candle, it's getting front run. So it looks very healthy from that perspective, right? Very healthy. Obviously, today's this front run is actually on Sunday. So that's something that I don't like to see, because obviously Sunday is very liquid. There's not a lot of players in the market. So I want to see what happens during the next couple of days before we start making decisions to buy. But I'd like to, it looks pretty good. Like, that's kind of in a nutshell. It looks pretty good. Yeah. So with that being said, also I'm looking at AI stuff, right? AI had a significant, like AI 16 said, everything is looking pretty good for pullbacks. So A116 said, I'm looking at AIXPT as well. But have in mind that those ones move a lot, right? So they move like 20%, 50% up, down, things like that. So obviously have that in mind. So yeah, this could be a lot of things happening this week, right? And I kind of like it, right? Like, it looks pretty good. Like, it didn't look good on Friday. That's why we took some risk off the table. But would I short anything here? Not really. I don't think.
There's some stuff I would short here. Some stuff that I am shorting here. We've
Oh,
got
well,
some strong data that new hyperliquid listings are all destined for the toilet.
I saw that one. So what is the one? So up? So what is it? What is it?
the
So
bucket of shit that we're doing right now.
SOHP, some shit like that. I don't even know it.
SOPH, I think.
So
Yeah,
what the fuck is this? That's this? The fuck is I don't even know what is this shit. Yeah. Interesting. Yep. Yeah, it was listed on Wednesday on Binance. Is that on same thing? Listed on Wednesday as well on.
So I wouldn't scalp these things, Rob. What you want to do is you want to hold them and stay holding them. And what happens is that a successful short shrinks. So as you win, your short is going to go down. So you're going to need to keep adding to it as it goes down. Every time there's a squeeze, you add to them and just.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's it for me. Like, that's where I'm at. That's what I'm tracking. And obviously I want to see like things that actually went really strong. Filecoin still looks like there is the leading meme coin of the cycle.
Filecoin looks
So
like the leading mind share of meme coins. I don't it seems to have absorbed all the flows from the market makers who OTC'd it at the highs.
I agree. So I'm still tracking this one, right? Because now we do have a pullback. Let me just.
It's got enough volume now and enough exchange listings that it's a real thing now. It's not just like a fart joke. Because you can trade 10 or 20 million bucks worth of it, then it's a real asset just by virtue of the fact that it's got liquidity.
I agree. And I'm sort of playing close attention. And as you can see here, obviously, now you know the gist sort of on the daily is being front run again at $1. So $1, and obviously, you know,
I mean, that's so obvious. $1 fart coin.
I know.
A whole fart coin.
I know. And this is as stupid as it sounds, it could, like on Bitcoin strength, this could actually run to all-time highs at $3. Yeah. So
this could run hard because it gets to the news, it gets normies.
Yeah. And this has been definitely by far, in terms of narrative speaking, the driver, like the meme coin driver. Like everybody's watching a fucking fart coin to go into.
It doesn't get old. Like Mudang, who wants to hear the fuck about that stupid fucking hippo? But like fart jokes have been around. Fart jokes are as old as time. Like they're evergreen. It needs no influencers. It needs no memes. It's just a fart, and farting will never not be funny.
Yeah, that's well put. Yeah, definitely. It lasts me. There you go. Yeah, so I'm tracking that one, because this could be a really good positioning for this one, right? So I'm looking at that one, looking at AIXBT, same deal. So AIXBT is being front run. Like you can actually see now what look at this. Like this is a daily, right? And this is like front run on every pullback sort of deal. So I like it. I really like it. This one could, like it started to be in the best of the AI sort of agents kind of thing, and this has a lot of mindshare. AXBT. So I really, this one is another one of my favorites that I'm tracking. AI 116, same deal, but it hasn't been front run. Look at these two charts, and if you look at AI, let me just compare these two, right? AY16 against AIXBT. Which one do you think? Which one looks better from your perspective? This is AXBT, AX16 set. Let me just make this bigger.
XBT.
Yeah, XBT, definitely. No, it's been, you can see the accumulation happening, right? And if you load this on, but then just be careful with these ones. These things move quite aggressively. So let me just make this a little bit on 1 hour. Make this better. Right. So now we're starting to sort of bottoming things into spot. Right. What I want to see is this delta start sort of breaking up structure, and that could be something that I'd be watching. So I've been watching these indicators closely for the last couple of weeks. It gives you a lot of information, guys. For scalping, these things are really, really good, man. Like really, really good. Especially when spot started unloading. So check this out. So I was going to take this short, but then
you see that they unloaded on the highs.
Exactly.
So retailers are getting in and used that. See how the open interest is almost back to where it started. So they've been gradually getting out. Now, what you should be looking for to get back in is two things. One is price going up with open interest going up on a small time frame, like a 5-minute or a 15-minute, which tells us that new longs are being opened. And the other thing is the CVD going up, which tells us that new longs are being opened and opened aggressively. So what we wanted, this is clearly a market maker or whale organized pump and dump, and they pumped it up high and gradually sold off their holdings. Because that open interest has normalized basically to where it was when the whole bullshit started, right? That tells us that we're back to the beginning of the game. And what do you do when you've had a successful crime? You probably rob the same place again once everyone's forgotten about it for a bit. And probably, if I was a betting man, and I am a gambling man, I'd say that they're probably going to try and repeat the same bullshit that they did before.
More than likely. More than likely.
More
So
than
this
likely.
is more than likely. So this is the stuff
You don't get originality points.
Exactly. And this is the stuff that it gives you a really good indication to upload. And obviously when you see a lot of this spot uploading plus open interest, that's you can see it in two ways. You can see it like if you do have a position, get out, or there's a good opportunity to show the market. That's as simple as that, right?
So you can see the aggressive CVD selling is market makers aggressively dumping large positions that they'd accumulated before the pump. When they stop aggressively dumping, like if they want to dump a position, they want to dump it pretty quickly because they're big positions. Now you can see it's stabilized sideways. What we're looking for is to see if they go back to the well and start accumulating again. So that would be almost maybe. I'd watch that one pretty close. I wouldn't say you could jump in right this second.
No, I agree. Yep.
Maybe one thing that I often do is take a very small position, like a 1/10 normal size, just to force you to pay attention to it so you don't miss it. So it's always like that. That's a good trick. That's a good trick for newer traders, is to force yourself to pay attention by betting a couple $100 or something trivial. Now it's in your screen. Now you see it all the time. Now you're not going to forget about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But yeah, guys, this indicator is amazing. Honestly,
amazing.
It gives you a lot of because it's the delta. Technically, from the perspective, is what Scott explained. Is who's driving the market, shorts or buys,
You should
right?
think about it not as CVD. Think about it as aggression. That's what it's called inside the industry, is aggression. Who's more aggressive? And that there's information in that. Like there's information in who's the more aggressive.
Exactly. So yeah. So with that being said, that's pretty much what I have. So I've been focusing on this, and maybe we if market keeps if we do have continuation of Bitcoin, I will expect that these ones, ENA, AXBT, probably A116 said, but I don't like it. I just like the product. A116, I do like the product, and they do have.
I can't believe you said that.
Mate, I like it. Like it's one of the things,
as a man,
because you could actually run. I've been playing with AI agents, and it's a really interesting platform to actually make your AI agent alive. It is interesting, right?
Oh yeah, fucking really. Why dump on you? Good product.
Anyway, yeah.
Bro, none of any of these AI agents are anything other than scams. 100% scam, start to finish. I like trading them. Because they're
I
scams.
like trading them too. Yeah.
But you shouldn't really believe the hype about this kind of stuff, because we've seen this script play out before.
I know. I'm just saying. It has interesting things about the AI system.
It has a plausible line of bullshit which Muppets will probably buy into.
Correct. So that's where my guy. So obviously we might have good.
This is a myth that you can't be emotional about trading. I get very fucking emotional about trading. I fucking love to win. I like to put my enemies to the sword. I'm a fucking barbarian. 1,000 years ago, I'd be riding through the steppe on a horseback. I'm a man out of time. All the successful traders I know get hugely. I'm staying at this legendary hedge fund trader who used to work for Paul Tudor Jones. He's still asleep. It's 11 a.m. and fuck, you should see him yell and scream and rant at the screen. He gets tremendously agitated. He's one of the best ever to do it. Like, famous guy. You're allowed to have emotions. You're just supposed to those
This
emotions
is
as they happen.
is part of the game, you know what I mean? And then obviously you just need to be clear what you're in for. You know what I mean? Like what kind
Right.
of risk you're taking and things like that. So that's kind of what I'm taking that.
I had a couple of Sammys.
Well, a couple of Xanax can do that to anyone. Sleep wicked.
That like big. Oh.
Shit, you look good in the morning, brother. I can't believe you're still single.
What's going on? What would we do?
Oh, I'm talking to my my online group of say hello to one of the most legendary hedge fund traders who ever lived.
Morning.
Hey, morning.
Um, okay, so I've got some advice for Todd. My trading advice for Todd is simple. You have to do what you can do to make money today. And you have to do what you can do to make money today with the skills, with the brains, with the infrastructure, with the technology, with the skills that you have today. We would all like to be smarter. We would all like to have computer programmers at our disposal. We would all like to be able to computer program ourselves. We would all like to be able to do maths. We would all like to be able to do some of the complicated shit that we do. But if you can't, there's no use fucking pretending. You've got to do what you can do to make money today. Today is all that matters, right? So what are you doing? It's very difficult to make a prediction 3 or 4 months out using the monthly charts and shit like that. In my opinion, that's all just a bunch of code. What is much easier, and we know it's much easier because there's so much randomness in markets and path dependence, it's much easier to predict tomorrow than it is to predict 3 months out. So what can we say? Market looks pretty fucking good today. I reckon
Yeah.
we can put a few things to go wrong today. Balanced is that every time you touch a trade, you lose money because it costs it. Okay, so in the vault, let me just quickly look at the vault while we're here. Once again, I'm asking you not to buy fucking trend token. Don't be cunts. We're either going to launch at. Okay, so we've gone sideways, which is really good considering the market's been kind of fucked, right? Like that's a great result for the last week. What did I do? I dropped down our Bitcoin size from $2 million down to 480. I just went, hang on, I'm accumulating right now. I'm going to load that hype up to about 1 million. I'm going balls long hype today. I'm going to balance that as much as I can with these fine fucking things, Launchcoin Dude and Soph, which haven't done much. But I think that's reasonably balanced. And TRX, is the strongest momentum big long. It just is. And it's much lower volatility than the others. So I might give you guys a bit of an update on what I've been doing. So I'm in Australia. I just finished I spent 5 days in Brisbane with Caroline and Robot James and Liquidity Goblin and Jeff Marrison, who's our why David decided to only 3x as opposed to 5x hope, I don't fucking know. You should never get anywhere close to maximum leverage. Anyway, so I spent Jeff Marrison is our smart contract developer, who's genuine top 1,000 in the world developer. We've got to get the security right on this, obviously, like it has to be the #1 priority. So what we're doing is he's rewriting. We've got Liquidity Goblin's HFT execution. So we had a number of meetings about how we're going to integrate that with our FinRev system. It actually makes it much simpler. The weakness of FinRev right now is our execution is very basic. Because our execution is very basic, it limits the amount of edges we can have, because the better edges, you have to be faster, right? And the big problem with trading for us is that the central problem for Maurizio as a trader is that you can pick good trades, but every time you touch a trade, you lose money, right?
Mhm.
Well, every time Goblin touches a trade, he makes money. Very fucking different game once every time you touch a trade, you make money. So now we can do all kinds of shit. Now we can turn over now instead of trying to, we turn over the book 15 times a year right now, 14.81 point of fact. Goblin makes predictions on a 15-minute time horizon, and we can turn over the book. We can turn over the book every 4 hours.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. Wow is exactly right. So let me show you some shit that James has been quanting. Fuck me. Let me just go through. Let's also. Are you in this Good Quants Slack channel?
No.
Oh, I'll add you to it, but let me share it and I'll just go through what we've been doing for the last week. All right, what are we got? Okay. So you can see this?
Yep.
So what we're doing right now is just toy versions of all the shit that we're going to trade, and then we're going to mix it together in a soup. So there are lead lag relationships, which are basically beta relationships that you were talking about. So there are this works because there are stat arb relative value mean reversion algos running a basket of things, and one gets out of whack, and then they buy the one that's undervalued, and so you can jump in front of those flows and effectively front run the stat arb guys. That's what this looks like on the top 100 pairs of hyperliquid. That looks pretty good. I mean, by pretty good, I mean fucking amazing. What else have we done in the last week? Okay. Shorting new listings on hyperliquid. This is the time alive in days. And now this works because market maker contracts are well, not effectively, they are a call option based on 120 to 150% of the strike price. That's a 7-day VWAP. So it's in the interest of market makers to hover it for a 7-day for the 7-day VWAP to keep that strike price.
Wow. Holy shit. That makes sense.
Exactly.
Yeah. Fucking
When
it.
Goblin
It makes
explained it to me,
sense.
the light bulb went off. And so then it's in their interest to dump at least 75% of their holdings. So you can see that from about day 7, literally. Oh, and these contracts last 3 months, right? So what's 90 days plus 7? 100 days, which is right here. And they start coming back up again.
Holy shit.
Holy shit, man.
That
So obvious.
that
It's
also
so
fuck,
fucking
I
obvious.
never saw it that way. I never
Yeah,
saw it
never
that
saw it that
way.
way either. Yeah,
Ah,
Goblin's just so autistic. He's like, and then he gets out the math equation and does the thing. And then James and I are just looking at each other going, shut the fuck up, nerd. You just like wait a week and short everything. Like, just shut he's like, but you can actually work out the deltas that they're hedging off in the options market and see the flows on Deribit. I'm like, shut the fuck up, nerd. Just wait a week and short it.
jeez.
So
That
was
actually lines up pretty well with what we call what I trade as well, which is listings that, new listings that went to shit, and usually after a period of time they gain momentum right back up, which is basically after the 100 days that you just show. Oh shit, that's actually pretty fucking good.
okay. What else have we got? Okay, so this is a buddy of mine. He lives in Chiang Mai. He fell in love with a brown-eyed girl. He's been a top 10 market maker on Binance for years. He calls it a grid bot, but it's not a grid bot because he's actually smart. He's shorting, he's longing low inflation, low unlocks, and shorting a basket of high inflation, high unlocks, which is working pretty good. So I'm buying some data. Yeah, I'm buying some data to do this. It's quite expensive. But that looks pretty good. Now, what else has James got that he's been doing? Oh, yeah. So this one is 10-day momentum on the top. So volume is highly predictive on hyperliquid. So this is the top decile. So we're building toy models are very useful for working out when we blend them all together into a soup, is it worth the effort? Is the juice worth the squeeze? So what you generally do is you build toy models and then you go back and you build better versions of the models. So this is the top decile of average daily volume measured over 30 days. And this is a backtest of 10-day momentum with a reasonable cost basis. That looks pretty good too.
Mm.
Good enough to throw into the soup. What else have we got here? We've got hyperliquid carry, long the top decile and short the bottom decile. Not as good as some other shit we've got, but still worth throwing in the mix. What else have we got here? This is well, this is momentum interacting with average daily volume, which on a 6-hour time horizon is a sharp 4.7, and this is momentum interacting with open interest, which on a 6-hour horizon is sharp 4.2. Now, what all of these are is basically the real phenomenon behind it, which is that momentum trend works better on the big coins. So what we do is we rank all the coins by how much open interest they have or how much average daily volume, which is a proxy for market cap. And then we only trade momentum on those ones, and it works like a motherfucker. What else have we got here? Yeah. Okay. This is our new little, we've got a Ukrainian refugee quant, living in Germany, AP, Artem, lovely guy. He interned with SBU, the guys that just pulled off the drone attack today. So fuck yeah. This is funding. This is momentum on funding rate. So not the funding rate, but the rate of funding rate change. And you can see it looks pretty fucking good. Good enough to throw into the soup, right? And yeah, looks pretty fucking good. Yeah, so we've been quanting the fucking house down there.
Wow, that's actually yeah, a lot of good edges, man. Like far
A
out.
lot of good edges, dude. It's a lot better than we thought. It's a lot better than we thought it was going to be. Okay, so here's the plan. Here's the fucking plan. Let me show you something really cool. Okay. Let's look at all time. So obviously this is like a dream equity curve, right?
Yeah.
But it's running at really low volatility. It's running at like 22 to 28% over the last year, but it's beautiful, right? Like it's legitimately beautiful.
Yeah, because the drawdown, I do have money on that one, and obviously the drawdown on that one
look at the vault performance. The maximum drawdown was 5.68%. It's very good.
It's low.
Okay, so we've built the smart contract so that we can do anything. We can hold our spare capital, not just in this, but we can lever this. We can go double leverage long this with our spare money, because you don't need much capital to run trend, right? Like all this stuff we're running, we can run at huge leverage. So we only need to deposit like 20% of capital, if that, on exchange. And we can,
I see.
so we'll run, 80% our stuff, which is looking great, and probably double leverage this for about an extra 40% per annum running like that. So a mix of this plus our own stuff.
Fuck, man. I can't wait to fucking see it working, man. Like definitely.
The only way for us to make this work is to have a huge capacity thing that fucking prints money. Like it's got to print. It hasn't got to be like FinRev. Like FinRev makes money, but it's kind of cunty to do. Like everyone who's experienced FinRev knows that it works, but it sucks. and you get paid because it sucks. This isn't going to be like that. This is going to be, it just fucking works. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just fucking works.
Definitely. And it will work, and it will have continuation as well, because obviously you have the both edges, you have longshore, you have everything. No, far out. It's gonna be beautiful, man.
And yeah, I'm trying to bribe some people working in crypto prop shops to get some decent mean reversion shit going. That's my job. I'll just fucking bribe them. You want to betray your employer, and I see the weakness in you. What is it you like? Fucking whatever it is you like. Do you like money? You like this? You like that? I'm your magic genie there, buddy.
Wow, this is great, man. This is great.
Yeah. I fucking got this, dude. There's a lot of money on offer here. We're gonna make fucking dollars. My word on it.
Yep, definitely.
Fucking dollars. We're gonna share it out with everyone. And I'm gonna
And everything that, you know what the beauty is gonna be automated. Fucking A, man. Like it is, you know what I mean? You don't have to spend time charts and watching. Like, I mean, still love the markets, but obviously gets draining, you know, from time to time to.
Oh, I don't want to do it forever. Todd, the beautiful thing about paying these geniuses is that now they've all heard the plan. They don't want to be paid in cash. No one wants cash. They all want to be paid in trend token. So they're all accepting magic beans.
Yeah.
So they're all in. Like, if it doesn't work, they're not getting paid. So everyone.
Yeah.
And that's what I want. Like, you know, we're gonna launch at either 100 or 150 $1 million market cap. We haven't decided yet. We're giving away 32% of supply to you guys. We definitely decided that. It's gonna be big. It's gonna be a life-changing deal for all y'all.
Yep, it's gonna be good, man. It looks good. And on top of that, it's going to do a really good. Oh man, waiting forward.
I've got to find the right. I've got to find the right biz dev guys, and there's a few people I have to find because I'm not really in that grifty influencer world. But I'll turn my special brand of charm and influence on those people and make them an offer they can't refuse.
There you go.
No, I'll do
it. I know you do. I know you will. You'll get them. You'll get them on board.
We're all going to the Token 49 conference in Singapore on October 1st. If any of you are going, I'm going to track down all those. I'm going to do crypto fight night. I'm going to beat the fuck out of Ansem. I'm going to go on a publicity tour with James and I'm going to fucking challenge Ansem in crypto fight night to a bare knuckle boxing match. I'm going to beat the fuck out of that little boy. Fuck
that's going to be a really good one to watch, man.
All right. The glory of dream. I'm gonna do some horrendous fucking grifting on this shit.
Yeah, that would be good, man. Amazing.
Liquidity Goblin is a bit too autistic for you guys to really like. He's the kind of guy that he was getting 200 grand worth of NDIS a year. When he was in high school, they thought he'd be institutionalized. He's a proper Rain Man. He's like, he can give you the answer to anything like instantly with this like super authority. But he'd probably get, he might get freaked out by so many people. He's very, very, he's disabled. He's disabled. Yeah. I love him. I reckon he's great. All right, guys.
All right, guys.
I'm back to Thailand tomorrow. I leave in the morning.
Nice. Safe travels. See you all later. Ta-da.
See you guys.